My family abandoned me. 16 years later, do they want to reconcile with me? Part 6. In a somewhat summarized and simplified way, Lily worked at the bank in the city where we both lived before. She explained to me that her duties at the bank were to perform the annual startup of the accounting system, in addition to working on budget allocations, budget items, projects, etc. Because Lily proved to be a very efficient and capable element, the people in charge of the bank assigned her to a position where she had access to a large database containing all the information about the clients and people who had an account in the bank to perform her duties in a better way. In addition to Lily, there was also another guy who had the same duties as her. He said that one day the administration was bombarded by complaints from angry people who reported that their savings accounts were zero or that they had no money in their bank accounts at all. After a few hours, the bank's administration realized that the bank accounts of several people were indeed being emptied. After a few hours, and since there was nothing that could solve the problem, they were forced to restrict access to all associated accounts, resulting in what we know in Mexico as a corralito. This means that for a few days no one could enter or withdraw money from their accounts, which was very problematic. When investigating what happened, the cause of the problem was found. It turned out that a criminal group, it is most likely that these people were members of some cartel of the time, but this was not made clear, had access to the information stored in the database. By information I mean card numbers, passwords, etc., so that having this information they dedicated themselves to emptying several bank or savings accounts. The bank managed to recover some of the stolen money, but some of it could not be recovered. Most of those involved were arrested 2 days after the event, but others managed to escape. Lily was taken into custody while the investigation was ongoing. The people who had access to the database were investigated, leaving Lily and her coworker as the only suspects, but the latter could not be investigated further because he curiously resigned a few days before the event and disappeared from the city. The perpetrators stated that someone who worked at the bank gave them access to the information stored in the database, but that they did not know who it was because contact with this person was made by another member of this group who managed to escape. The investigation also showed that this group had to be guided by someone who had knowledge about the operation of the bank. Because of these and other factors that were presented, it was suggested that Lily was the one who helped these people. In the end she was found guilty, although perhaps she was only used as a scapegoat to close the case, which would not surprise me considering the history of the Mexican police and this type of things. Then she told me how her family turned their back on her during the whole period of the investigation. I highlight her mother, who did not believe her at any time about her innocence. At this time there was some tension between Lily and her mother for situations related to their relationship. It seems that this fact complicated things. Finally, Tanya threw in her face the damage that her action had caused to both her family's reputation and the people who lost their savings. When her sentence was passed, her mother went to her for the last time to tell her that they did not want to see her again in their lives, to which Lily returned to say that she was innocent, with her mother replying, "If you were found guilty it is for something, right?" Soon after, her family cut all contact with her, leaving her completely devastated. As soon as Lily finished speaking, I began to apologize to her for not being with her when I needed to be, to which she replied that I did not have to apologize, because even if I had wanted to communicate, Tanya would not have allowed me to do so. Tanya was the only one allowed to visit Lily in prison, so if anyone wanted to visit her they had to have her permission to do so. Besides this, Tanya also prevented contact by other means such as correspondence and phone calls. After a few minutes I asked Lily how she managed to get out of prison, to which she replied that she was imprisoned for 5 years until one of the people who managed to escape was arrested.